Cool little fact. This actually used to be Jermaine Dupri. If you guys know Jermaine Dupri, he's a producer. Produced Janet Jackson. I think he dated Janet Jackson. Produced a bunch of other people from the Atlanta area, and this was his house for a little while at least. If you go in the basement of this house, there's actually a studio, or there's a couple little soundproof rooms with glass doors where they would do recordings. So kind of cool to see. 3 or 4 rooms down there. So we got one person on. Whoever that is, give me a thumbs up so I know that you are hearing me okay. Gonna dive into this live here real quick. So before I start, hashtag live if you're watching this live in the comments, hashtag replay if you're watching the replay after the fact. So Stacy, what's up? Thanks for the thumbs up. Cool. Well, let's get started. So the only way to lose in your fitness journey is to stop playing the game, right? So I look at this as like a game. Like every day you got to go into it like it's a game. You got to go into it like you're trying to win this game or win the day, essentially, right? And if you think about a game, the only way you can really lose a game is if you just stop playing, right? Because if you always are playing, eventually you're going to pick up on it and you're going to win, right? So you got to win every single day to win the weeks, to win the months, to win the years. But again, the only way to lose this game is if you just stop playing. So basically if you quit, right? And maybe some of us have been in the past where we have quit and then we gained the weight back, or we fell out of shape, or we, whatever. And it was a constant up and down thing. So this is where you need to fix that mindset and just think of it as a very long-term thing, right? Because if you look at it as 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years down the road where you want to be, you're never going to lose, right? It's the people that are after 2 months, they're like, man, I'm not where I want to be, and they quit, right? And then guess what happens? 2 months later, they're motivated again, or they hate themselves enough to go, man, I really want that again, right? And so they start back up, and then 2 months later, it's the same thing. So it's this repetitive negative cycle that we're consistently putting ourselves through, right? And a lot of it's not your fault, because maybe you're doing the protocols that are just, unrealistic, the cutting the carbs, the trying to fast every day. And don't get me wrong, some people are successful with those things, right? Some people can do those things and be successful long term, but the success rate of those type of things are just not very good. Okay, if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd probably say 1 or 2% of people can actually do those crazy lifestyle things and be successful long term. So the odds are not in your favor, right? So you have to remember that this is the long game. This is something you need to be thinking about in 5 years. Where do I want to be, right? And in this group, whether you're with us in 5 years or not, you need to learn the foundations of what it's going to take for you to be playing the game in 5 years, right? Because if you're not playing this game in 5 years, then that means you've basically failed up to this point, right? And that's why I say the only way to lose this game is if you stop playing, okay? So what does stop playing mean? It means stop working out, obviously, or stop being as consistent with working out. Stop tracking your food. Stop getting your steps in. Stop meditating. Stop doing all these things that are the foundation to everything that you are and the foundation to your fitness journey, right? So I know some of you guys, I have a few clients right now that are kind of stuck, and we call that the dip, okay? So in your period of your fitness journey, you're going to go through these dips periodically, okay? It's the first dip that's really the most important, because typically, here's the thing, when we start our journey, most people are going to see some success, some big wins right away, right? And then once those big wins turn to smaller wins, or we just starting to kind of even out, that's when the motivation loses its effect. That's when, if you're not thinking long term, you're going to go backwards, right? But here's the thing about the dip. It looks like this. You're going, then all of a sudden you start going here, But what's going to happen? Eventually, you're going to go right back up, okay? But you got to get through that dip part to actually see that part of going back up. And that's going to happen several times. Not like it just happens in the beginning, you get past it, and everything's all good and gravy for the rest of whatever. Like, we all have those times. Like, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this for, how long you've been playing this game for. Like, you're going to have those times where you're like, man, this sucks. But then you're going to have times where you're like, man, I'm glad I stuck with it because, like, I love the way that this works and, you know, the way I'm feeling and all of this stuff. And the goal is to always be in love with how you're feeling for the rest of your life, right? Because if you're not, you're just going to continue to be frustrated. You're going to continue to go up and down on that roller coaster, right? So the consistency is the key, obviously. And just making sure that you're always playing that long game, right? Because it is, at the end of the day, it's a game. The game's to be played. I always say, play the game, don't let the game play you, right? So hopefully that helps today, guys. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. Monday is the mecca for the rest of the week. You know, you build your momentum on Monday. The Monday is going to set your momentum for the rest of the week. So remember that. Always start off on a good note. Keep those habits in line. Keep everything as much the same as you can, and you're going to find success over the long term, okay? Have a good day, guys. We'll talk soon.